Good afternoon, friends. Happy March. It's time for me to do my February wrap-up. I won't lie to you guys, it does happen to be March 22nd. But hey, life has been busy. I'm pulling myself together and getting around to this. Hope you guys had a wonderful February. I hope you have had a wonderful March. I know it'll probably be the end of March before I ever get this one up, so we'll see when we get the March wrap up, but I'm gonna try and keep my stuff straight. I'm pretty sure I have everything I did in February out in front of me right now, and don't have any March mixed in, but you know what? Nobody will know if I do. I want to get right on into it. Let's see, what did I do in February? Do anything exciting? Did I do anything exciting? I got a new phone. This is my new phone case. It's the Circus Stripe Tint Big Top. Big Top, it's from Pila Case. They're biodegradable. I really like them. So we did that last month. Let's see, I think I went to 2 concerts last month. I went with my friend Jess both times, and I saw Peter McPolland with Doug opening for them, DUG. Doug is one of my new favorite bands. I'm gonna let everybody in on them real quick. They are an Irish folk band, and I think they're incredible. Doug, shout out. They also have the sickest merch ever for an Irish folk band. Let me actually go grab it. I'll be right back. And we're back. Okay, Doug merch I have to share. It's so sick. If you know anything about me, or I'm letting you know, I love skeletons. I love the color red. That's really all you need to know for this. So, Irish folk band making metal merch. The front is the band name with 2 skeletons fighting a dragon. How epic. And the back is 2 skeletons celebrating defeating the dragon by eating ice cream. How insane. The sleeve is an ice cream cone, and the other sleeve says Doug all the way down it. The most incredible purchase I made in February, I believe. So I guess we're rolling into the purchases. Anyway, I saw Peter McPolland, who is incredible. If you ever get a chance to see Peter live, he is fantastic. I saw him when he went on tour for his album Piggy, and then I saw him this tour. He's incredible. He's a great performer. It's always a fun time, and I love my time spent with him, and I loved my time with Doug, so that was fun. And then a little bit less exciting, we went to see Del Water Gap. I don't know anything about Del Water Gap. I was invited because there was an extra ticket. It was a concert. The venue was really cool though. Anyway, yes, so I did that in February. Anything else? No other major events. So February was pretty chill for me. I went to 2 concerts, but that's pretty normal. Let me try and stop moving. But yeah, so those were the things that I did. Since I've already showed you guys one of the items that I purchased in February, I'll just go ahead and roll into the others. Others, plural. Let's see. The first thing that I have to show is I bought some seeds, some like herb seeds to hopefully start growing this summer. I've always wanted to have my own herb garden. Would love specifically to have my own tea garden and be able to grow like flowers, or I don't really know if you can grow your own black tea, but black tea is one of my favorites. But specifically like lavender and rose, and I think I got some rosemary, anything like that. This specifically is catnip. It has already started to sprout. So I bought those seeds in February to hopefully get them going. They're gonna stay inside, so I don't really think it matters what time of year I plant those. But they are already sprouting, and I'm so excited. I got catnip specifically for Azzy, who is my cat. I don't think he's going to give two craps about the catnip, but that's okay. It's for him anyway. And really the only other thing, I think I had a couple little shopping days, like errandy shopping days. And I bought some soaps. I really love bar soap. I only use bar soap actually. So I just got some different scents of that and just little necessities. I just stocked up on little things. I got a new rug for my bathroom. Why don't I just bring everything over here? I'm gonna go get it because I realize it's really cute and I want to show you guys. Okay, here's my little cutie little Persian rug that sits in front of my bathroom vanity that I get ready in front of every morning. So how cute. I love rugs like this. She was honestly a really good price. And she's adorable. I love these rugs. So I got that, and I remembered that I thrifted this little cathedral looking wall hanging with some hangers on it. Still obviously have not put it up anywhere, so it does beg the question, did I need it? But I don't really care. It's really cute. I will find a place for it eventually. You can never have too much storage in my opinion, and if there's hangers on it, it's storage. So also got some more little yarn. It's really thin, more like thread than yarn. It doesn't say on it that, but I've been making stuff with this kind of crochet thread, really thin cotton stuff, and I went to a yarn store and they had black, so I picked up this little ball of yarn to hopefully make something in the future. And I guess since we're talking about making things, I will hop into things that I made. Like I said, I've been working with this kind of thin crochet thread. And so last month I made two little bookmarks. Showed it in the past, I've been like filet crocheting. This one is hearts, if you can see that. I'm not done with it. I want to add like a trim or a fancy border on the outside of it. I haven't figured out how to do that yet. And I started working on this one, which is supposed to be a tulip. Let me know down below if you can tell that. It's supposed to be a flower. When I get done with it, again, I want to add a border around it. My other problem is you see how wonky that is? Right here? I cannot figure out how to increase and decrease more than like one extra stitch box. When you're looking at a filet crochet chart, it's in like the grids. I can't figure it out. We're gonna figure it out though, because I'm having a lot of fun doing that. Something else I made last month, I started weaving. I've always really liked fiber art, just the textileness of it, the materialness, the physicality. I really like being able to feel what I'm working with, as opposed to in the past I have painted a lot and done a lot of stuff like that. I've always enjoyed the printmaking, and so I think like really being able to like physically do the work I've enjoyed. So I've started weaving. I actually have my loom set up in the back with a much bigger project, but I'll share that next month. But yeah, so this was my first little tapestry weaving. She's nothing special, got a lot of edges out, but I think she's really cute. She's been hanging up by my door. I see her every day. But I've just been having a lot of fun with that, and going along with the weaving, I have always been like really passionate. I was gonna say oddly passionate, but it's not odd. I've always been really passionate about textile waste and fast fashion and what we do with the garments that we no longer wear or things we don't use, and throwing them away, donating them. I've always been really interested in that. I wrote papers on it in high school, And if I had not, I always say this, if I hadn't gone to school for art, I absolutely would have gone for conservation, specifically in textiles. And I just think there's so many things we can do with the fabric and the clothing that we already have, and we don't need anything else at all ever. Which leads into my whole mindfulness theme this year. But one thing that I love with weaving is thrifting and finding fabric and textiles in the stores that are not going to be used, not going to be loved, and cutting up a pair of Shein pants, ripping apart a Kim Rogers shirt. I love doing it and finding a color and a texture that's going to work perfectly, and it doesn't really matter what it's made out of. In fact, great, if it's polyester, it'll probably still be there 500 years later. So it's probably a good way to keep your art. Your art's not going to degrade because it's fake. It's plastic. But I really have been enjoying using those fabrics and giving them another life, and so it's just been a really fun way to bring things to life. What I've been doing now is more of like painting with yarn and with fabric, and it's really fun getting to bring pictures together physically and one by one stitching it in, and it's just been really fun. So that's something else I've been working on. Another project I've been working on, a crochet project. I started this in January actually, and I'm still not done with it. It got out of the colder months and I didn't want to work on it anymore. But I'm working on a hood. I know it doesn't look like much. I also don't know how to explain what it is. So I'm just gonna try it on. I know I'm gonna look crazy, but I'm gonna try it on. If I can get it over the bandana. So it will technically be like this, you know? So the bottom piece and then the hood will go like up and over my head. And I'm doing a lot of extra. I'm just freestyling this at this point. I started following a pattern, but I went off the rails at some point because I started increasing quite a bit. You can probably see the very lettucey edges here. I started increasing a lot because I really want it to be sort of like the hood on like a wizard's cloak, you know how it really points down the back and then it'll come to a point. I just wanted it to be a little bit more whimsical than just a straight across like hoodie type hood, you know, because that's what the pattern is, and I didn't really want that, so I just sort of went off the rails with it. But hopefully this will be ready by next winter. But I won't hold myself to that. I'm making it with like one of the last 1 pound balls of yarn that I ever got from Joann's. Rest in peace to the queen. So trying to use that up, but again, weaving, so if I have a lot left over, I have other projects that I can use it for. And I think the last thing that I have to report that I made last month, or that I'm currently working on, I'll get in a second. I'm a big fan of dusters, and dusters are really expensive, and I just decided that what if I did like what if I crocheted my own duster? So I'm going to show you guys the inspiration picture that I found. More like a sweater cardigan jacket thing came up on my Pinterest, and I said, you know what? I know how to make granny squares. Even if I don't know how to make granny squares, I know how to make squares, which is different with rows of stitches. Like, I know how to do that. So this is my reference photo from Pinterest. It is sort of this different toned checkered red jacket with gray yarn, like stitching them all together. But I just thought that's really cool and I could do that. So where that comes into play is I really like dusters and I wanted something very lightweight. So I'm insane. with with crochet thread, this little itty bitty thread, and a 3mm hook. I have made many itty bitty squares, and I have several different shades of red. I have some pretty much the colors that are in this. I have sort of a dark burgundy maroon color, and then I have a bright red, and I have another red coming. I ordered it from a yarn shop. I've started working on the individual squares, and then I haven't decided on what kind of a color I'm going to use to stitch them together. Obviously the inspiration is a dark gray, but who knows what I'll be feeling when I get done with it. I'm going to try not to do black because I feel like that's so... everything I have is black and red, but hey, if it's what I do, it's what I do. But this thread is 100% cotton, and the reason I'm using such a large hook for it, usually you use like a 1 to a 2 maybe with thread, depending on what you're wanting to make. But I'm using a 3 so that there's more room, so that it's almost like a mesh texture, so that it can be something that I can wear during the summer and during the winter. I think that for this summer, I'm going to do my best to get it done without sleeves and maybe have just like a really long vest going on. And then as it gets into the fall, start making the sleeves so that I can sew them on. And then maybe, if I really feel like it, every year I can trade out. I can take off the sleeves and then put them back on in the fall. Who knows, that's a lot of work, but maybe it'll be something that I'll be interested in doing. But those are all the projects that I am working on or have made. Been doing a lot of textile art, but I'm having so much fun and I am loving it. So that's what I created, and now onto what I have consumed. We're doing things in a backwards order this time. Also, I didn't say it in the beginning, but I want to apologize for the light going on. It's like 5 o'clock and the sun shines directly in my bedroom window, so I'm working with that. I'm trying to figure things out, but bear with me. So I think I want to start with the movies that I watched in February. If you are my friend and you have seen my Letterboxd, or if you have seen my Letterboxd, I have had people ask. It was not a glitch. Wasn't a glitch. I did in fact watch The Fellowship of the Ring 3 times, which isn't that many times. That's not that many. In my defense, I watched it for the first time ever. I watched it for the first time because I haven't seen it. Never seen it before. Watched it for the first time. The next week I was sick and I wanted to watch it while I took a nap. So that was a second time. And then a third time because I was working on this hood and I wanted some inspiration. So I watched it 3 times. Anyway, I loved this. Like I said, I watched it for the first time in February, and then I watched it 2 more times. And that's okay. That is perfectly fine with me. That's usually what I do with a movie that I love, as does everybody, right? Maybe? Probably not. I love this movie. I love Frodo. I love Elijah Wood. I love Gandalf. I love Merry and Pippin. I love Strider. I just love them. I love all of them. I love them. I love them. I don't know what to say. I have heard so much talk about these. I think, I've heard, I don't remember who it was. Whose video was I watching? I was watching someone on BookTube when they were reading The Lord of the Rings for the first time, which I am as well. And they were talking so much about how this is not just an epic tale, because it is an epic tale, but not just that, but how much it's about friendship and being there for one another and doing everything in your power to keep your friends safe, and whatever your friends need, you're gonna do it. And that is exactly what this movie is. It is friendship. It is caring for one another. It's going to the ends of the earth. I would have followed you into the very fires of Mordor. It is it's incredible. And I don't think I need to say anything else. Legolas. How did I forget Legolas? I love that man. I love that man. I think it helps a lot that I love Will Turner, and just Orlando Bloom really had a stacked filmography going on. What was my favorite quote? My favorite quote, did I write it down? I wrote it down somewhere. It's at least in my letterbox. Hold. My favorite quote from this movie, and because it so relates to times like these, it is probably everyone's favorite quote, but my favorite quote. I wish it need not have happened in my time. So do I. And so do all those who live to see such times. But that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us. Just take my tears and take my money and go forward. Anyway, that's the first 3 movies I watched in February. And then last, one day I was just feeling kind of silly goofy. I'm gonna preface this, I don't like this movie. But I watched it. I own a copy of it. And I watched it because for some reason, Labyrinth has such a level of nostalgia that I can't figure it out. I think it is something to do, forgive me, I don't know when this was made. In the 90s. I think it is something to do with the late 90s fantasy that is just so nostalgic, and it's crazy because it's nostalgic and I did not even live then. And I know the Lord of the Rings is like early 2000s, but looking at those movies, I think of The Princess Bride as well when I think of this movie. It just, that sort of goofy Monty Python, that's what I feel like is Monty Python. That's what it feels like to me, but it is so whimsical and childlike, and I love it. I think watching it again, I've watched it twice now, I don't really like it. It's not a good movie, but I personally don't think it's a good movie. It just has this level of whimsicality to it that you can't find anywhere else. And watching it again, seeing and really diving, like looking into their use of puppets and how they used them in this movie and the skill that it took to do certain things, it's insane. It is fun to watch. I enjoyed my time with it. I still don't like it as a movie, but but it was really fun. I think in February I went through like a relapse in loving David Bowie, and I think I listened to like 3 of his albums just on repeat for a couple weeks, and so this came out of that as well. But yeah, so that's the other movie that I watched. Still don't like it, but it was a great time. So those were the 2 movies that I watched 4 times in February. That is all I watched in February. I didn't even watch any TV. I didn't do a whole lot of anything. And I'd like to say that I read some books or that I listened to some books, but the truth is I did not. So let me tell you about what I did read in February. I mentioned in January that I picked up The 10,000 Doors of January. I love Alex E. Harrow. I have noticed that Alex's writing follows like the same story every time. Alex seems to write about a single book or books or another world having something to do with like pulling the main character in and putting them in a different time. Love that synopsis. For some reason, I have not been able to sit down and have the desire to pick this one back up. So, unfortunately, I think since the last update I gave, I'm still at the exact same spot. And like I said, I love Alex's writing. In fact, I'm currently reading another one. I'm reading The Everlasting. and I'm loving it. I read Starling House and I loved it. I read The Once and Future Witches and I loved it. I read A Spindle Splintered, which is a little novella, and I loved it. I love Alexi Harrow. I just think it might not be the time for me to read this book. And I don't really know why. I don't know. But I did not finish this one. But I'm keeping it out. I'm not going to shelve it again. I'm not going to take the bookmark out because I remember what happened. I just don't feel like picking it up right now. So it's still sitting on my pile for the moment. So, unfortunately, she has not been finished, but that's okay. As for books I did finish, though, I have 2, and I'm happy with them. I'm very happy with them. I'm happy to have finished 2. I told you guys I was rereading Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. Naomi Novik is another one. She's another one of my favorite authors ever. I love the books that I've read by Naomi. In fact, I think she has a book called The Summer War. I need to pick that one up, and I cannot wait to one day read her Dragon series. I can't think of what it's called, the proper word for it, but the first one is Her Majesty's Dragon. But I cannot wait to read those one day and own them, because the spines, when you line them up, there's dragons all across them. It's so cool. Anyway, but I finished this book again. I will say I finished it on audio, but we just had some slow days at work and I'm able to listen to books while I work. So I finished it at work while it was still really cold outside, and again, I just love it. I really like it. I did forget how it ends, so that was interesting. Not like the main, if you read the book, not the main storyline. I did remember that. I totally forgot that our main character gets engaged in the end, or is like dating somebody. I forgot about that. I thought we sent them off into their land and said to be gone never again. I forgot that we had Mercy. That's okay though. That's alright. Women power still. But I don't really know what else to say. I love this book. I think I gave sort of a synopsis of it last time, but it opens with Miriam, who is the daughter of a money collector who is not very good. He's a money lender collector. He's not very good at his job, so Miriam, his daughter, takes up the work. She is incredible at it, so much so that the people in the town fear her, and so much so that she catches the eye of the Starrick King. The Starrick are ice people who live on the other side of the woods, sort of like an alternate universe. They're right next to each other, but like you can't see them unless the road is opened. It's a whole thing. But the Starrick King sees that she can turn silver into gold. Not actually, she does not have any actual magic power, but he believes that she does. And we go on this whole thing. She changes silver into gold for him. He wants to keep her as his queen. Yada, yada, yada. It's a lot of fighting demons and fighting men, women being strong, powerful women, and figuring stuff out because they just have to, and they're strong, and they can, and they know that they can, so they do. As well as having mercy. Having mercy on those that you really shouldn't show mercy, but you have no reason to show them mercy because they have not showed you mercy. But having mercy anyway, because that is what being a kind and compassionate woman is. You still have that need to take care of people, even if they have wronged you. I just really love this book a lot. I love it. I love Naomi. I need to do a reread of Uprooted this summer. But she just writes really wonderful fantasy books that really have a deep foundation to them. And it was set in the ice, and I love the ice, so. Anyway, that's Spinning Silver. And then the one I think I am most excited to say that I finished in February is The Two Towers by Mr. J.R.R. Tolkien. I love it. What's up with the spider, guys? Like I said, I've never read these before. And I'm blown away by his writing. I feel like people really, I've always thought that people like really hyped him up, and I was like, no way that like it's actually that good. Like I feel like people are just saying that because everyone else says it. But he really is that, he really is that dude. Like he is the king of fantasy, and it's insane. A couple things about this book. I think I gave it a 4.5 rating. And my reasoning for that is I just didn't like the split timeline, or the split POV. I was not a fan. I feel like for this story, for some reason, I felt really disconnected from like what was happening. I totally forgot what we were even doing, like out on the road. I think because the first half of the book is one half of the party, and then the second half of the book is Sam and Frodo. And I feel like for me, I just sort of got disconnected. I forgot that they were even on the same quest. By the time I got to the end of the book, I totally have forgotten what Gandalf and the rest of them even did. Like, I don't even know what's happening. Where are they? Where is Legolas? Are Merry and Pippin still alive? Who is Aragorn? Like, I don't know what's happening. I will also say, this book gave me a soft spot for Gollum. And then we got to the end of it. And I'm going, you little twerp. What are we doing? I liked you. There was something that Sam said in the very end of the book. Oh, did I mark it? Hold on. I didn't mark it in this book because look how stunning it is. This is the Alan Lee illustrated editions. Look at them. It is so pretty. Let me see if I can find one of the illustrations in it. These were a birthday gift from my parents. Just if you've never looked at the inside of them before, look how gorgeous that is. Anyway, so I've been doing my best not to damage these, but I do love reading out of them because what's the point in having beautiful books if not to use them? But I'm gonna go pick up my other copy that I was marking in throughout because something Sam said made me laugh so much and I have to share. Let me find it. Alright, the Two Towers. Is it right there? No. See, I think I probably dog-eared it. Don't yell at me. I like dog-earing things. It was not there. How far was it? This way. Hold on. Okay, so I have just sat here for like 30 minutes looking for the quote that I'm talking about, and I have found it. I have indeed found it. It is the last, it's the last page of chapter 8 of the Two Towers, and the last page of chapter 8 of book 4. So the second half of the Two Towers. Anyway, I think you get me. So Frodo comes up and says, "Hello, Smeagol. Found any food? Have you had any rest?" "No food, no rest, nothing for Smeagol," said Gollum. "He's a sneak." Sam clicked his tongue, but restrained himself. "Don't take names to yourself, Smeagol," said Frodo. "It's unwise, whether they are true or false." "Smeagol has to take what's given him," answered Gollum. "He was given that name by kind Master Samwise. That hobbit knows so much." Frodo looked at Sam. "Yes, sir," he said. "I did use that word, waking up out of my sleep, sudden and all, and finding him at hand. I said I was sorry, but I soon shan't be." It doesn't feel as funny now that I'm reading it, but when I was reading it, something about Gollum saying, he was given that name by kind Master Samwise, the hobbit that knows so much. And that is what I mean when I say that I found a soft spot for Gollum in this book. And then all of a sudden, I realized that I'm not supposed to like him at the end of the book. So whatever, that's fine. But like, why is Gollum funny? Like, he said so many things about this book, and I was like, I said, Smeagol, we're gonna have to reel it back in there. Anyway, this has been a long journey for me. I thank you guys so much for being here. That is all I did in February. And I look forward to very shortly filming my March video, probably. Yeah, hopefully I'm gonna have some exciting updates coming in the March. A little March update. I hope you guys have a great spring. It is officially spring now, so I hope you guys have a great spring. I hope it's not too warm. I think it was 86 here today, which is kind of insane for March. But anyway, regardless, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for watching, if you're watching. I really just love making these, and they're helping me stay like present and like grounded and thinking about the things that I'm doing. But yeah, so thank you guys for being here. Love you, and I'll see you next month. Bye.